Right, in that case, let us begin. Okay, so we can just begin. The feet shoulder width apart, knees just gently bent, the back is nice and straight. Gently dropping the tailbone down so it draws down towards the ground. Softening the knees a little bit. Extending the spine and just lifting the top of the head gently up into the blue sky. Concentrating everything down into lower dantian, right into the very core of the body. And we can softly turn from there. Just stretch the back out a little bit, see how it feels. And then the other side. A couple of gentle, easy turns just to get the back working. And then we can loosen the whole thing off into the usual turning the waist. Sometimes called beating the temple drum. It's your forearms and your hands top tap onto the body. We just get this gentle thump, like a temple drum, deep and sonorous, deep inside. Sending a gentle vibration through the organs to wake them up, through the spleen on the left-hand side, through the liver on the right-hand side, through the kidneys around the back. Gentle, sonorous thump, gently awaken the body. Softly turning the spine to loosen up the vertebra. Softly turning the shoulders, wrists and arms. Sorry, wrists and elbows, that's it. Get the arms working. And of course you can feel there's a tiny movement in the hips and knees and ankles as well. So it just gets a little movement for the whole of the body. We'll introduce the neck in a moment, but basically the whole of the spine slowly waking up and the whole of the lower body slowly waking up and just gently getting moving again. Great way to start the day. I think it just ensures that as you go through your day, you've already warmed up your back and your arms and legs so that, you know, when we do so many tasks mindlessly, and there's no criticism in that because that's the whole point of having a subconscious. It's this idea that we can go through and do tasks without having to think about them. Pick something up off the floor, but of course, sometimes as we get a bit older and the muscles get, you know, if they haven't been warmed up properly, you can just, you know, stretch up to a shelf or stretch down to pick something up and suddenly, oh, yeah, oh, pulled a muscle in your ribs or in your back. And so just having pre-warmed up your body before you begin your day is a very sort of healthy way to begin. And so just by stretching and opening and everything just means that we preclude any of those little injuries that happen in life because we're doing things we always normally do, but our muscles are still cold. Another aspect to it as well is that when we sleep, the chi stops flowing as vigorously, and so does the blood, obviously. The blood moves much more slowly. And the chi, they say it pools in the big muscles. So the back of your thighs, the back of your calves, the back of your arms, upper arms. These sort of big muscle groups tend to hold a lot of chi when you sleep. And so that's kind of about getting the chi moving again around the body. So if there's an absence of chi in a muscle or a joint, then the likelihood is that it might sort of, you know, get pulled or so forth when you bend. So this gets the chi moving around as well as the blood. It gets all the muscles loosened. So it's got a very sort of physical purpose. And it's got an energetic purpose of two from the chi perspective. But it's also got a very good mind activity to it as well, in that it just draws your mind into a sort of steady place. We do this exercise so often and so frequently that it brings you back to a chi state very quickly. You find that you can drop into that quiet mind very, very quickly. You don't have to force yourself to quieten. The body just does it for you after a little while of practicing this. So you get into a chi space, your body gets stretched out and opens, the chi and blood flow well, and you're ready for your day. Let's move on to the second part of the exercise. We can just slow down a little bit, but make it a longer term. Really look back over your shoulder. So now the full spine is being moved from the very tailbone right up to the nape of the neck and the axis bone underneath the skull. Very good, just a few more long opening turns. Good, and just let everything slowly, slowly, slowly drift to the start. Let's gather some chi. Hands go deep in the earth. Gently lift chi up. Pour chi down. Draw the chi down, deep inside. Allow the chi to flow down through the body back into the earth. Gathering chi. Pouring chi. Moving chi deep inside. Gather, lift up. And pour the chi through the body, moving it from the head, drawing it from the chest, locating it deep inside the belly, bringing back deep balance to your body, and then allowing the chi to flow on gently down. Okay, so let's begin simple forward and back bends as well. So we can just lift the hands up and stretch up into the blue sky. Trying to coordinate the arms and the ears together, just stretching out the top of the neck. And then allow that to start to flow into the middle back, gently flow into the lower back. Let the body hang. So when we find this lower posture, we just allow the body to relax here for a few moments. Knees are soft, back of the neck is soft. Tummy slightly tucked, body hanging. Great, so we make a little extension down towards our toes. Then release, in line with the roots of our toes. And release, in line with the instep. And release, in line with the heels, deep bend. And release, let the body hang. Gently lift the tailbone behind, swing the tailbone to the front, curl the spine, arms and ears join together, come up as one piece, draw up into the blue sky and stretch. Let's do some back bends. Knees drift forward, hips drift forward, you lean back a bit. Up. And gently back. Up. and back, up and back, up into the blue sky, curling down on the left-hand side, opening the right side, curling down on the right-hand side, opening up the left side of the body, down on the left, and down on the right. Good, stretch up into the blue sky. Okay, so we can begin the whole process again, just tipping over the head and the arms. The body stays more or less straight. And then the upper back bends, the middle back bends, the lower back bends. You slowly peel over and keep the knees soft, relaxed. Head hangs. Great. Extend softly towards the toes and release. In line with the roots of the toes and release. Working towards the insteps and release. Working towards the heels. Nice deep bend. Relax, release, and hang. Let's just lift the tailbone up behind. Push the tailbone toward the front of the body. Scroll the spine up. And then take up head, arms, and ears. Stretch up into the blue sky. Knees and hips drift forward as you lean back. Up. Gently back. I sometimes do a little bit of a side bend with these as well. Up. And gently back. Up. And gently back. Stretch up into the blue sky. Left hand drifts down. Right side of the body gently opens. Right hand drifts down. Open on the left. Down on the left. And down on the right. Stretch up into the blue sky. So let's go through these practices with straight legs then. See if we can just stretch our hamstrings a bit more. Let the arms and the ears tip over. Upper back, middle back, lower back, gently tip over. Let the body hang and relax. Keep the legs as straight as possible. Shift the weight a tiny bit into the toes. Just feel the extension up the back of the legs. Okay, keeping the legs as straight as we can, just extend softly down towards the toes and release. In line with the roots of the toes. Release. In line with the insteps. Release. In line with the heels. Release and relax, let the body hang. Lift the tailbone to point up behind. Gently swing the tailbone toward the front of the body. Start to roll the spine up. Arms and ears gently roll up. Stretch up into the blue sky. So the first time I just go straight backwards. And stretch up. And I do backwards and slightly off to one side. Straight up. Backwards and off to the other side. Straight up. And then straight back. So I kind of sandwich two little side bends in between the two back bends. I'll do the proper side bends, let the whole left-hand side Go down and right hand side open up. Down on the right. Open the left side of the body. Down on the left. And down on the right. Lift up on the right hand side so the hand comes up into the blue sky. We've got the whole process to go through one more time, starting with the forward bend. So we stretch up into the blue sky. Arms and ears only tip over. Roll into the upper back, roll into the middle back, roll into the lower back. Let the body settle down and relax. Back of the neck, relax. Whole body hangs. Nice and easy. Back of the neck is soft. Okay, so extend softly down towards the toes and release. In line with the roots of our toes and release. Toward the insteps and release. Toward the heels. Good, body whole. Body just hanging and relaxing, lifting the tailbone up behind, pushing the tailbone to the front of the body, rolling the spine up slowly. Arms and ears come up as one piece, stretching up into the blue sky. Okay, knees and hips drift forward as you lean back. Up and gently back. Up and gently back. Up and gently back. Hands up into the blue sky. Left hand side of the body curls down. Right hand side of the body opens up. Down on the right. Opening the left. Down on the left. And down on the right. Great, stretch up into the blue sky. Just let the hands drift gently down. Now we're going to gather the chi just to bring ourselves back into balance. Hands go into the earth, lift chi up. Pour chi down. Draw the chi down through the body. Deep into the center of the chest, deep into the center of the belly. Allow the hands to flow and go down the legs, deep into the earth. Gather again. Pour. Draw. Flow the chi deep inside. Okay, again. Okay, last time. This time we can gather the chi onto our bellies. So just bring the hands down, settle on lower dantian. Hold the chi steady, deep inside, lower dantian. Mind, deep inside, lower dantian. So at this point, you can continue standing, you can sit down, you can lie down, doesn't really matter. Just keep the mind steady, deep inside. So what is the true nature of healing? So we find that healing, or illness rather, we find that illness has come about because we've strayed away from our true nature. So healing is just bringing ourselves back to our true nature. So illness is having moved away from our true nature, and healing is bringing ourselves back to our true nature. But what indeed is this true nature state? So I've mentioned before in my book, I mentioned an episode where on retreat, I was standing in a room full of people, quiet, just in the early evening. The sun was gently going down. The room was just gently becoming quieter and slowly darkening. And as I stood there, going into a deep meditative state, my eyes just softly closed in a very still, contemplative mood. Suddenly, below my feet, the whole of the universe opened up. It was as if I was standing out in the middle of the universe. All around me, stars, planets, galaxies. I could hear a rushing noise, whooshing noise, as if somebody had opened a window on a speeding train. As if I was standing out in this active universe. I was just deeply aware of being at one with everything around me. It took me a long time to wonder about what that had really meant. I realize now that there was a deep, deep connection with all that there is. And so when we look at illness, we have to think about the true nature of everything. We have to think about the isness of our present life. Everything that's happening around us, everything that's going on, seems very real. But then when you sit in a movie theater and watch a film, everything seems very real. The truth is that it's just projected. And we find the truth of our universe is that it's just projected. So there's an old experiment that people talk about, and they say, can you prove that you're actually not just a brain in a jar somewhere in a laboratory? And of course, it's impossible to say with any certainty that that's not the case. Because if you say, well, I can see things with my eyes, they sort of say, yeah, but you're just being fed that information through your eyes. Same as a movie. Well, I can hear things. Yep, same story. It's like playing a radio to you. I can touch things. Okay, so all of the sensors of your supposed fingers are connected into your brain. So it's just something coming along a channel an impulse being sent along a channel to your brain. So still you can't prove that you're not that just jar with a brain inside. Smell, same story. All the sort of the feelings and sensations that we have in our bodies that make up our lives. All of the ideas and things that we see around us make up our lives. All of the experiences we have make up our lives. Could easily just be fed to this brain by a supercomputer of some sort. You'd have to ask why. That's another question, but perhaps we just think about this little experiment for a moment. Maybe you are just a brain somewhere experiencing this whole interactive movie show. How does that help us in any way? Well, my experience of complete oneness with the universe left me wondering about the nature of me. Was I actually as real as I thought I was? If the whole of reality could just peel away like that and disappear, and I was left out in the vastness of consciousness, then perhaps the reality wasn't so real after all. Every time we look at a microscope, we discover that what we think is solid is actually molecules, atoms, tiny, quarks all the way down. And the more we look, the less we find, the more space we discover. We discover that reality is not as real as we think it is. It seems very solid, but in fact, the truth is that there's virtually nothing that's solid. I seem to remember some ridiculous thing like you could fit the entire matter of the universe into the size of a sugar cube, some sort of crazy thing. The rest of it is all space. Could that be the case? Anyway, some crazy fact like that, or a meter square or something. We think of everything as being exceptionally real, exceptionally solid. The reality is that it's not at all. And so your brain in a jar is experiencing this whole wonderful universe. But who knows how much of it is actually there, how much of it's actually real. It's an unnerving idea that we might just be a sentient being, and that all of this thing that we experience is not really real. In my mind, I'm doing air quotes there, real. What does that mean about illness then? It means in a way that we've lost our path. Whatever way we've decided to play this game of life, we've just let ourselves get lost in a maze. We've taken a few wrong turns. Not your fault, because each one of us is set off in this game to experience what life is like, to experience the twists and turns. So nothing is wrong. Nothing is ever wrong. Even if you have some terrible illness, some terrible cancer, some terrible disease of the heart, whatever it might be, nothing is ever wrong. Because this is how consciousness chooses to experiment. We are quite literally in a laboratory where consciousness tries everything out. It's quite a thought. We think that we are the absolute center of the universe. But then I suddenly discovered one day that I was just part of the universe. The universe was part of me, that I was just another speck of consciousness floating in this vast sea of energy. Based on that information, the struggle we find ourselves in the illness that we've brought ourselves to. Why not change that? If we're creating this reality at some level, then we have the ability to change and shift that as well. And that also can be part of the experiment of consciousness. Everybody's been given the ability to create their world as they see fit. So why not change everything? If you don't like it, change it. We feel that we're in a kind of inevitable trajectory, that we've gone from being young and fit to getting older and unwell, and then eventually die. That's it. You'd think, oh, well, that's my lot. Perhaps it's not. Perhaps you can change all of that. Perhaps you can change from being young and fit to being old and fit. Why not? Just because there's a natural cycle of decay in our lives, that's no problem. That is how matter works in this particular game that we play. Things build up and things gently break down. It's just the nature of everything. And think about a beautiful Roman villa with people in it, and then 2,000 years later, there's just a tiled floor left. That's the nature of things. Things build up and then they break down. That's fine. And what does breakdown mean to us? Well, we think about death. We think about people we've lost. We think about the pain it causes. But that is no different. It's still part of this beautiful consciousness simulation. Just as yin turns into yang, and then yang inevitably turns back into yin. So we have day, which turns into night, and then night that turns into day. And inevitably we have life that turns into death, and then death that turns into life. So don't be afraid. Don't worry about that. It's all just part of our consciousness simulation. Your brain in the jar, if you like, goes on and on. The essence of you always continues. You are consciousness. You are the universe. You just happen to be expressing yourself through this particular life. Perhaps like a television set. At 8 o'clock, on comes a show. Everything goes through. And you switch off. It's still the same television set. It's still there. The whole drama that played out between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Finished now. When you switch it on again, something new will play. The television doesn't disappear. So in the same way, you are always, have always, and will always be here. And more to that, you and I seem very separate. The truth is that we are all just specks of one consciousness. How can the one experience itself? It can't, unless it divides, it folds in some way. So oneness builds up so much vast potential and power that eventually it bends and twists and can see itself. It's like dropping or injecting perhaps ink into water. Initially, it'll sort of zoom into the water, but eventually it'll start to cloud and turn. In that instance, as it swirls through the water, it can see itself. And we are just that, a reflection of consciousness. We are consciousness. in its millions and billions of different forms, we experience each other. That you and I are one. We come from the original source. We are just aspects of the original source, experiencing each other as separate. But when I look in your eyes, I see me. When you look in my eyes, you see you. We are the same. We are all one. And so in these very separate lives we seem to lead, we use our unconsciousness to kind of blunder forward. A job comes up and we think, oh, well, that looks right, I'll take it. We find ourselves in a toxic situation, toxic bosses, things going wrong, find ourselves grabbing the first person to marry. We find ourselves in these situations where family are upset with us. We get upset with family. It's a constant testing. And we make so many of these decisions in a completely unconscious way. And someone says to you, how did you get into that job? And you say, well, I don't really know. It just sort of happened. And that was it. It was an unconscious pathway that led you there. Very often it starts with our parents. You know, we want to impress our parents. And so we do something we think we might be good at, something we've been told we might be good at by a school teacher. So we follow along that path because we don't really bother thinking about anything. We just listen to what other people say. And eventually that path leads us to a job, and eventually that job leads us to a family and a house, and so it goes. And we just gently, mindlessly stumble through. And then one day we stop and think, God, how did I get here? Whose life is this? Why is it like this? Why is my body this way? Why is my relationship this way? Why is my family this way? Why is my money situation this way? Whatever it might be, we look at it and we just think, God, how did I get here? Why? But the why is a series of unconscious decisions. We normally just allow our body to go, or our lives to go the way it wants to go. We don't really sail the ship. We're just on board. We don't know who the captain is. We're just kind of going in that direction. Part of the crew, ho-hum, let's see what happens next. But there's nothing to stop us making very conscious decisions about our life now. Now that we know what's been going on, now that we know that we're playing this consciousness game, where every yes and no is like a fractal turn. So every yes moves you left on the path, and every right no moves you right on the path. You have this twisted, fractal shaped path through your life. So start looking at those decisions more carefully. Start consciously making those decisions. And I would say that illness is just a series of wrong turns, and that wellness is just a series of correct turns. So now we're going to gently move our lives in the direction that we wish. We can start by using the La Chi exercise. The La Chi couldn't be more simple. Just holding a ball of chi in front of the belly. When we say open, what does that really mean? Open? Well, very little works unless you have space. If you feel all cramped up and all cornered, then what you really need is space to help you escape, to give you some room for maneuver. So by opening our hands, we can imagine opening up situations. So if the situation is with your brother or with your sister or with your mother or with your father, whatever it might feel as if you're absolutely cornered in a situation. But when you open your hands apart, you can just imagine dissolving that situation, creating a doorway through that situation, opening that situation out to give you immense amounts of space. And putting the hands back together towards each other, we say her. When we say her, what does it really do? It's about attracting new energy into your life, about attracting a new way of being. So what have you actually done there? You've thought about a situation. Let's just backtrack there in a moment. Jar in a laboratory. Is there anything else except thought? So with that idea in mind, we now see the power of thought. The power of thought to hurt us is apparently incredibly strong because we end up not paying attention and we end up in some sort of terrible situation or ill. So the power of thought is awesome, is extraordinary. And the power of thought to heal us is just as extraordinary. So a positive thought brings about a positive change in your life. So with the Kai opening the hands apart, we're dissolving something, breaking something down, putting a great hole through the middle of a problem, a big space, a new tunnel with which we can escape from this problem. And her bringing the hands together creates this brand new situation. So if there is nothing but thought, you are using thought in a very powerful way just to completely recreate everything in a new, open, working way. So when you draw your hands apart, it can be like the power of a tsunami washing through your whole body, destroying any old patterns. When you bring your hands together, it can be like two tectonic plates crashing together to create a vast earthquake, which new land forms from. Think of the power of your body. Think of the power of your mind. Think of the power to create whatever it is you wish. Think of the power to change and destroy anything. If you truly are the consciousness of the universe, which you are, then that means that you and I and all of us are what we commonly refer to as God. Every holy book tells us that we are God. God is inside of us. We just don't think that it can possibly be true. We think, oh, not little me. I can't be God. But if there is nothing else except the vast consciousness of the universe, and we are all expressions of that vast consciousness, then be the vast consciousness. Change this little expression of consciousness into whatever you wish it to be. You are the vast power of the universe. So now I say to you, everybody feels they're on an extraordinary journey, that they have to look for something. They have to go through trials and tribulations to find something. The truth is, there was never anything to find. There was never any path to go on. You have been and always will be the entirety of the universe. Like Saul on the road to Damascus, let the scales fall from your eyes. Understand that you are absolute consciousness. You always have been. You always will be. There is nothing to give up. There is nothing that needs being changed, because you always have been and always will be the vastness of consciousness. So now we have to find a way to remember that, to feel it, to allow the old barriers, all the things that we've been taught, to allow them to gently dissolve away so that we can realize our true self right here, right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Time is just a construct of this game we play. So there is no time. Everything is just this vast space of awareness. We play in this vast space of awareness. God acting out as 8 billion different lives to see how it feels, to see what goes on. Make your life different now. Allow your life to change. You don't have to be stuck in aspic, held in place, pinned in the universe like a butterfly in a collector's case. Free yourself now. Dissolve all of the bonds that hold you. Make your life radically different. Nothing need remain the same. Life, death, life, death. It's just a game. Don't worry. Take all the fear away. You are God. You never die. This game may seem wrong at the moment, but you can always change it. Nothing need remain the same in this simulation that you live in. And we can use simple Kai and her to destroy the fictitious boundaries that hold us in place and bring ourselves back to our original course, bring ourselves back to our true selves, bring ourselves back to the experience of the universe. So the thing that we're all seeking, the thing that we're searching for, has always been here. You are complete. You are perfect. You are the universe. Just a few little pins need to be removed. Just a few little fasteners undone. A few ropes untied. Just to loosen off the illusion and eventually find your true self. So let's just hold this ball of chi in front of the belly. When we say Kai, we gently break through. Feel the power of breaking out of your shell. When we say her, we start to bring the illusion back together in a different way that suits us now. Kai, the power to explode, blow away, tunnel through, open out all of our old problems. The vastness of the universe pouring back in to create a new life for us. Feel the vastness, the vibration of the whole universe opening up. Chi pours deep back into your life, filling every aspect of your life. Feel that it's possible to entirely rebuild everything, reshape everything, a whole new way of being. Everything dissolves, everything breaks down, breaks through, opens up. We rebuild this illusion in a whole different way, seeing ourselves as healthy, wealthy, wise, happy, whatever it is that we need in our lives. Everything fitting together perfectly, like a jigsaw puzzle, pieces fall into place. Whatever aspect it is we look at and we wish to dissolve, use the power of God, of the entire universe, to change the old ways. Move mountains with your mind. Dissolve mountains with your mind. Feel doorways open. Feel old things fall away. Allow your life to begin to reshape. Allow wellness to pour into your life. Allow abundance to pour into your life. Allow happiness to pour into your life. What do we draw back? Love. Love, love, love. Draw love deep into your life. Our whole universe is a universe of love. Consciousness is love. Love is consciousness. Allow this vast tsunami of love to pour into every cell of your body. Allow your love to flow through every aspect of your life. Every aspect of your life is just love. We allow judgment to fall away. We allow questioning to fall away. We allow attachment to fall away. We fill our lives with love. So now as you stand here, just allow your whole body to be bathed in love. Feel love pouring through your brain. Every cell of your body responds to love. Pour love into your throat, into your neck and your shoulders. Pour love into your arms and your hands. Fill your spine with universal love. Fill your chest. Fill your heart. Fill your lungs. Fill down into your intestines, stomach, spleen and pancreas, liver, kidneys. Fill with love. Fill your whole spine with love. Allow this love to flow down into your tailbone. Fill your hips with love. Fill your thighs, love, knees. Fill your calves, ankles and feet with love. From the very core of the body, deep into every cell, we imagine love radiating through our body. Complete and utter love radiates through every cell of our body. We work into the structural parts of our body, our muscles and our tendons, filled with love. We move into the systems of our body, our nervous system, completely filled with love. Our endocrine system, filled with love. Into the lymph, everything filled with love. We feel every cell. We think about our digestive systems filled with love. Every cell working well, filled with love. We feel all of our senses, our nerves and our senses deeply connected. So into our eyes and our ears, to our mouth with our taste, tongue, teeth, filled with love. Our hearing, sight, our touch and feel, everything working well, filled with love. Your whole body radiates this love from deep inside the core. Every function of your body responds to this incredible feeling of love. The barriers of the universe taken out of the way, the things that we have created for ourselves, the barriers of the world that we've created for ourselves, taken out of the way. What is left is just pure love. Remove the old barriers, the things that you thought were your problems. Let them go. Allow your amazing strengths to come to the forefront. Allow yourself to truly be who you wish to be. Be your true self. Feel your true power. Feel that you are love, and that in this state of love, everything works well for you. Everything in your body works well. Love every aspect of your body. Love it for what it may be. Now, it doesn't matter, because the more you love that aspect of yourself, the more that aspect will become what you wish it to be. So something may not seem completely right now, but we pour love through it, and it changes and evolves. Be love. Whole body love. Everything around you turns to love. Dropping a drop of love into the center of a pool, and love radiates outwards. You be that love, and everything responds to you. Love your life. Love all the people in your life. Love all the things in your life. See them for what they are. Little obstacles that have been created through lack of love, through lack of thought. Now we change them with love. Just remember, nothing is ever wrong in your life. Nothing is ever bad. It may appear that way, but sometimes the most difficult building blocks are required to build the most extraordinary things. So just think upon that. Think upon the fact that things that seem like massive problems can also be the powerful foundations for a brand new development, a brand new you, a brand new change in your life. So love the hardest bits of your life. Love the most difficult people in your life because they are part of the extraordinary building, the vast tapestry that you are creating. Allow that love to flow. No longer with a heart closed. Open your heart. Be love to everyone. Give your love to everyone. Send your love to the darkest, most difficult people, and they too can change. If you are universal love, then your entire body will respond to that. Love, love, love. Every moment of your life. And let's be fair. There are going to be moments where you forget love and anger takes its place, or some other emotion that we talk of as being negative. But don't forget, nothing's wrong. Everything's right. You can always change. You can always catch yourself the next time and make it love instead. So in this vast feeling of love, let us just gather some love back to our bodies. So you can just draw your hands backwards past your hips, flare them out to the side, gather a huge ball of love from our universe and draw it back deep inside your belly. Draw it back deep inside your belly. Hold this love deep inside. Feel your whole body filled with love. Everything changes. Everything shifts. Anything can heal. Everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. All is love. All is love. Feel that love. Feel the connection between you and me. Feel the connection between us all because we are all one. Deep, deep connection. Nothing is ever wrong. They're just awkward building blocks that need to be put together to create the vast love of the universe. So don't be cross, don't be upset, don't be angry. Just see things for what they truly are. Obstacles that can be gently dissolved and moved. Things that are required to move us through to another fantastic phase. Allow the love to emanate every part of your life. So we can seal this love deep inside us by turning 3 circles gently around the belly. Hold this state. Keep it in your body. Keep it in your mind. Allow yourself to just be in this state all day and every day. And then we can draw the chi in the opposite direction. Just a closing down, sealing, holding, keeping everything inside. Just leave the hands on the belly. Feel the body. feel the healing that these ideas have brought about. So soon we're going to emerge back into this game we play. But now we've changed our player completely. Now we're a new character in this game. Be that new character. You're going to slip back to being the old character, there's no questions. But anytime, you can just remind yourself to come back into this chi being of love. And the more you do it, the more it heals you, the quicker it heals you. Love, love, love. So just allow the hands to gently drift down by your sides. You can slowly start to move our fingers, shift our toes a little bit. Let's open our eyes. Let's stretch out our body, gently stretching and gently moving. And now we need to say howla. So you could unmute yourselves. Put our hands up in the air. 1, 2. Howla. 1, 2. Howla. Last time. 1, 2. Howla. Ah, lovely. We just bring our hands into the Zheneng Qigong salute. Thank you very much for being here today. It's been utterly lovely. And yeah, thanks.